Alright folks, welcome back. This is Balatro everyday, and today we're going to talk a lot about the green deck and we're going to play a little bit on the gold stake. In my opinion, one of the more difficult decks, actually not an opinion, objectively by the numbers, green deck, one of the more challenging decks. I haven't necessarily seen a whole lot of chatter about this recently. I think part of that is just the green deck is not one of the more exciting ones, but in the past what I've seen a lot of folks saying green deck was one of the easier ones for them, and you know what that says to me is that's just a skill issue, right? If you're telling me that the green deck is one of the easier ones, easier than what? Easier than yellow deck? Easier than blue and red decks? If that's how you feel, that's communicating to me, oh, you just haven't learned yet how powerful an extra discard is. You haven't learned how to properly leverage having an extra hand every round is. Why learn about interest when I can just play the deck that doesn't have any interest? So I want you to hear me out on two things. One is sort of in theory, what makes the green deck challenging? And then two, what can we do to try to overcome those disadvantages? And so the way to read this, if I have $2 per remaining hand, this is instead of, normally you have $1 per remaining hand. And so the difference here is you're only getting $1 extra per hand, one extra on top of what you would normally get. And so assuming the best case scenario, let's assume you don't use any discards and your opening hand is a one-shot hand. You just play your opening hand and it wins. Then you have 3 hands remaining, 2 discards remaining in total. $5 more than what you would normally have, right? This is instead of interest. And so assuming the best case scenario, you can get the equivalent equal to $5 worth of interest. But that's the best case scenario. That's not going to happen most of the time. Most of the time you're using at least one discard. Sometimes you're using more than one hand, not typically, but sometimes. And so it's not that hard to save up $25 in the bank. It's not that hard to get your interest online. You can do that partway through ante 2. Within 5 rounds, you can get $25 in the bank. Then you don't have to worry about this nonsense here. Cost me money every time I discard. Cost me extra money every time I use a hand, right? So, I want to say having interest is just better most of the time than this green deck nonsense here. Most of the time this green deck nonsense, this is a disadvantage, all of this, for no benefit, right? I have all of this stuff here replacing my interest. There is no benefit here. There are vouchers that give me extra hands. There are vouchers that give me extra discards, and this scheme here makes those vouchers better. But then there's also a voucher that gives me extra interest, and it makes that voucher worse, right? That's a trade-off. So I do want to emphasize here, this is worse than interest most of the time, but not all of the time. And here's where the difference is. In the first couple rounds, you're not really earning interest anyway. In the first round, you're definitely not earning interest. In the second round, maybe you earn some interest, but typically what you're doing is you buy at least one thing, maybe one joker from the first shop. And so having the extra money from hands and extra money from discards, not really discards because you have to use your discards to find your hands, but having the extra money for hands, you have $2 or $3 extra dollars in the first round or two that you wouldn't normally have. And so it has a similar flavor to the yellow deck here, having extra starting money with the green deck. And so with that kind of perspective, even in the context of an ante-8 run, a run that lasts 24 rounds or whatever, those first 5 rounds out of 24 are still really impactful. And a few extra dollars matters a lot. I hear people say, the red stake taking away the blind reward money is actually a significant step up difference from white stake to red stake here. The only difference is $3 per ante. $3 less in the first ante, $3 less in the second ante, and then so on. That's it. That's the only difference here. But it is still impactful. There is still snowballing associated with having a few extra dollars or a few less dollars here. And so what we want to be doing with the green deck is we want to be thinking about, in the early game, I'm earning more money than I would normally from having interest in the first 5 rounds. How do I leverage that extra money into, further value generators? Or what I really want to be thinking about is, how do I get to a point where I can win with just one hand as quickly as possible? How do I get there? then I'm earning a lot of extra money per round if I'm not using multiple hands. Let's give it a try. Alright, so in the first round here I can skip for a foil tag. I think most of the time we want the addition tags, foil, holographic, and potentially polychrome also, because one, they give us free jokers, and then two, having the extra foil or holographic, the extra chips or extra mult, very powerful early on. You can get chips from jokers normally, but to have the guarantee that whatever joker I get will be a scoring joker, even if I get like an 8-ball, having it be foiled turns it into a guaranteed scoring joker in the first shop. Like, this is powerful. This is worth it. The question is, like, if I'm playing on the yellow deck, when I skip here, I miss out on like $2 of interest plus however many hands. If I'm skipping with the green deck, I'm also missing out on, even more money from this first round compared to like the yellow deck. And so is that extra money that I'm skipping out on, is it worth taking the foil here? I want to say probably it's still worth it, though maybe there is some consideration for if I do skip here, I do have to win the next round in 2 hands instead of just 1 hand. And if this takes me 2 hands, that's a lot of extra money that I have to spend, right? I have to spend an extra discard to find an extra hand, and then I have to play an extra hand, which is going to cost me an extra $2, right? And so maybe I think it's safer economically to just play out the first round. And then in the first shop, look for something that will help me, win this in 1 hand. And that could be a joker card, or it could just be a planet card. And then you can get 450 points with just 1 planet card. So how do I, in the first round now, try to win with as few hands as possible? I mean, that's always what we're trying to do, is trying to win with as few hands as possible. So maybe, I think what I like doing here, I think I like keeping the high cards and then going for a high flush or a high straight. So I have 7, 8, 9. I have a straight already. It's not the kind that just wins, but maybe it's good enough. So maybe if I play this, it's not going to win, but it's close to winning. A winning hand would be, I need a queen. Queen through 8 does win. So like, we have an option here. We could discard looking for the queen. If we don't hit the queen, it's pretty devastating if we don't hit it. So I'm just going to play the straight that I have. And then rather than use an extra discard now, I'm just going to use an extra hand. And so the difference there, and we wouldn't have gotten the queen anyway, it looks like. Yeah, so the difference there, we used an extra hand, but we saved a discard. We used 1 less discard. So overall, that cost me $1. Anyway, we get to go into here with $5. So we got 9 total. 9 is more than what you typically get. Typically you have $3 or 3 hands left over if you get the 1 shot, plus the $4 starting. So maybe $7 in the first shot. But here we have 9 instead. Now, we don't get money from interest, and so we don't need to save money for that reason, but it's still worthwhile to save money. And any money that I spend here, I don't get to spend in the next shop, right? And so if I spend all of my money here, then there may be some booster packs in the future that I'm not able to afford, right? Or like the voucher, I'm not able to afford it, maybe. And so, I really have to consider, do I want this buffoon pack? Do I want this celestial pack? I'm looking for something that's going to help me one-shot the next round. And I think the best chance of getting that is with the celestial pack. With the celestial pack, I think we have it also being a jumbo gives us the best chance of one-shotting here. But because it is a jumbo, it costs $6. I'm going to take the buffoon pack instead. Even though the celestial pack, even though a planet card helps us one-shot this round, it's not going to help us one-shot the boss round. We're going to need a little bit more anyway. So let's open the buffoon pack. Okay, we take Andrew here for extra discards. Extra discards turn into extra money. I'm going to take the Droll Joker instead because the ability to win in just one flush instead of having to use 2 flushes, that's also worth money. And I could pick up Lovers here as like a way to make a flush, and then that could also save discards and that could be worth money as well. But I think Lovers are just, it's too expensive. $3 for just 1 wild card. Let's go next. Alright, I want to try to play a flush as efficiently as possible, so let's go for hearts here. And this was lucky. This was lucky that we ended up getting the flush right away. So we get to save a discard, but I'll accept it. A little bit of luck here. This also means, you know, for the boss here, we can win with just 1 flush now that we have the Droll Joker. This is ideal. This is optimal. You start with the plus molt. Now, we could pick up the Glutinous Joker here. Gives us, you know, plus molt when we play clubs. And so rather than play sort of generically any flush, we could play a clubs flush specifically. And I think with the red deck, with the blue deck, I think this is a good idea. I think with the black deck, I would probably take this on the black deck just because it's that difficult to score with the black deck. You kind of want to take whatever you can get. But here with the green deck, because we already have the Droll Joker, playing any flush is like, that's objectively, that's just easier than playing like specifically clubs flush. Like you might not get the clubs. And for that reason, I'm going to pass. I'm not going to take the Glutinous Joker here. I do want Death. Like generally speaking, that's very powerful. This does, in a small way, help us make flushes. But mainly what I want to do with this is I want to hold on to this until I get, you know, some kind of enhanced cards. And then now this question of, do I open these Celestial packs? So like best case scenario, Celestial pack has Jupiter card, right? Jupiter that's already compatible with my Droll Joker is not really what I need, because already if I play a flush, I can get 1,000 points. That's not just this round, but also round 4 I can win. So I don't need the Celestial pack. If I buy the Celestial pack, then after the boss, I'm not gonna have enough money for a voucher. So maybe we don't take the Celestial pack here. There's also consideration for, you know, kind of diversifying. And so, you know, another thing that I kind of suggest for the black deck is, with the black deck, you have a limited number of hands, right? And so you sometimes don't get to be too picky about like what hand that you do play. And so maybe it's worth it like early on to kind of diversify and like open the Celestial pack. Even if I don't get Jupiter, picking up a Saturn card and having the option to play either a straight or a flush is like pretty worthwhile. But I'm going to save my money for booster packs. I don't get any interest, but it's still worth it to save money for future purchases. Okay, as far as like making flushes, this is not what we want to see, but we can try to make it work. So, I don't know, maybe we'll go for diamonds. Okay, try again for diamonds. We could have gone for hearts also. And now I really do need the flush, and it really is going to cost me a lot of money. This particular boss, particularly stinky. We could have used the death card. The death card would have saved us a lot of money, but using the death card to copy an enhanced card. So like here's the question. The question is like, do I use the death card right now to guarantee I just have the flush, and then I get to save 2 hands? I get to save $4. Or is a $7 death card, you know, is it worth the $4 for the death card to copy something more important? And I think the answer is yes. For something more important, it's worth it for the death card. Because, you know, if you do get some kind of enhanced card and you copy it with the death, that's the same as like having 2 copies of that enhancement. So it's worth it, the extra $4. All right, here again, you know, to this point of like trying to diversify, we could pick up a zany joker, and then that way we have outs to play either a flush or a full house, or maybe three of a kind. We could pick up the bus here. I think the bus, like in general, is not super strong, and part of that is just it's a common joker, and so all common jokers are kind of, you know, not that strong, and so maybe the bus is not that strong. Also expensive, you know, normally each hand costs $1 to level up the bus, whereas on the green deck it costs $2 per hand. So you probably don't want to be in the business of just trading away hands, using hands just to level up the bus. Let's see here. I could, with the telescope does, you know, combo with the bus here. We could, you know, build like a high car or pair build with the telescope. Generally, I don't suggest that on the green deck. If the green deck is costing us money per hand, we want to try to play as few hands as possible. So maybe what we can try to do is we could try to play flushes instead, flushes with the telescope. I have $20 here, so I don't need to save my money. I could just buy the telescope here. I'm going to open the Arcana pack first. Okay, so we have the Priestess for planet cards. Jupiter card would not be very powerful, but it would be okay. We have Emperor, but we're holding on to the Death card. I think I want to keep holding on to the Death card for, you know, again, looking for some enhanced cards. So maybe with the Sun, we can go 10s and 6s. This unlocks the possibility we could in the future play a flush house, 10s and 6s, but probably we're not going to do that right away. It is costly, right, to try to discard and like potentially use some hands to dig for the flush house. So probably we're not going to play flush houses, but we are closer. Now, do I want this standard pack, right? Like I don't need to save my money for interest, but I do need to save money for future Joker purchases. If the next shop has 2 Arcana packs, or maybe an Arcana pack and a Celestial pack, I want to buy both of those. And for those reasons, I don't buy the standard pack here. Probably don't buy it. There is what we are looking for from a standard pack. I'm looking for seals, maybe blue seal, maybe purple seal, less so the red seal. I think because I have the Death card, the standard pack becomes more valuable when I have a Death card. And so if I didn't have the Death card, I wouldn't take the standard pack, but because I do have the Death card, I will take the standard pack. It's close, right? We can get a Polychrome 8. I did make some extra hearts, this being spades. I could take, instead of the 8, I could take the ace here for the money. But, and then I could use the Death card and then copy it and then get even more money and then leverage that. I think Polychrome is like really high upside. It's like really, really worth it in the long term, but it's like really not doing anything in the short term. And so I'm going to do something that's like a little bit controversial. I'm actually going to invest. I'm going to invest in the gold card here. This is going to help us in the short term. And if we just survive the early game, then the late game is fine. All we got to do is survive right now. And I think having the extra, you know, bonus card and gold card is better for survival. So let's do that. There is some consideration for, even though we use the Sun card to make hearts, even though we have the Droll Joker, we could still go straights. Telescope plus straights is like a pretty good combo. I'm going to try flushes. I'm going to try flush houses, though it is contingent upon me getting some potentially better. I need a value generating Joker, which I don't currently have. Let's go for hearts. Maybe I could just use the 3 with the ace here. I could do the king with the ace. I'm going to turn the 3 into an ace. So we're gonna save a discard and then ship it with the flush. All right, so that's huge. Now we got a ton of money. Okay. Now, could pick up the Scholar. Since I have nothing else, I probably pick up the Scholar because I have nothing else. I'm gonna open the Mega Arcana first, in case we get a Hermit. If we don't get a Hermit, we could pick up another Sun card. We can make more hearts. Could make glass cards, could make lucky cards. So let's start with the hearts. I wanna go 10s and 6s. I don't have, right? So maybe 8s and a king. I can turn into an ace, maybe. So we'll go hearts first, or let's go magician first and then hearts second. In case we get a fool card will give us more hearts. So I'm choosing here, I want to go for hearts instead of, you know, maybe going for glass cards. I want to go for lucky cards instead of maybe going for glass cards. I think having the lucky cards early, you know, for the investment to get the money is worth it. And now, do I want a jumbo standard pack for $6, or do we want to save our money? I think we want to keep saving our money here, because if I don't get, you know, some kind of scoring joker maybe in the next round here, next shop, I might be willing to re-roll for it. So let's, and I think in general, if I'm going for flushes, I want to prioritize Arcana packs for the deck manipulation. Secondarily, I want the Celestial packs, and then standard packs are kind of lowest on that list of priorities, purchases. All right, we should be able to get hearts pretty consistently. And by the way, you know, every time we use a Sun card, every time we make our deck, you know, more easier for us to get hearts, then that saves us a discard. That saves us a discard that earns us an extra $1 on the green deck. All right, this flush doesn't win. We could consider, you know, trying to discard looking for an ace. I think unless we get the ace specifically, which is a little bit challenging, unless we get specifically the ace, we're gonna need 2 hands anyway. So I'll just ship it. All right, we could go for clubs here. There's only 4 clubs left in the deck. That seems tough. I think it's still better here to go for hearts, or if we get 2 aces, a pair of aces just wins. We could play a full house, jacks and queens. That's not gonna be enough points, so I'm gonna play the 3 of a kind jacks, looking for hearts. Missing 1 more on the hearts. Missing 1 more ace. We have 12 hearts in the deck. We could get the hearts. Yikes. So this round, incredibly expensive. And that's just a consequence of, you know, we don't have that many jokers. And so, you know, the one hand didn't just one shot. Okay, I do like seeing the Sun card here. I can buy this telescope, but if I buy the telescope, I can't afford both of these booster packs. So I think we take the Arcana pack. This is what I was talking about. You know, if we had bought the standard pack in the previous shop, we wouldn't have been able to do anything here. So I can use a Fool to just make more hearts. And then, you know, with the Sun here, just guarantee even more hearts, and then you just have 2 flushes, right? You could almost make flush houses. I think I'd rather get the aces with the death card, because if I have the aces, I can win in 1 hand instead of 2 hands. I can try to make the flush house. So maybe we'll drop clubs here. And this Sun card, I'm gonna hold on to it for emergencies. I like to draw the aces and then turn them into hearts. I do want the telescope. Probably want the telescope. I would have to sell one of these. I would have to sell Droll or Scholar, and then that makes it very challenging, this boss here. We don't need the Scholar. Every flush we play is 1,000 points, so we can win with 2 flushes. I think we're gonna pass on the telescope. I think it's safer to pass the telescope. Okay, so here's a flush. I could make it into a straight flush with the Sun card. I could discard looking for aces, and having the extra ace would raise our hand to, you know, 2,000 points. But it would cost me $1 to discard. I think I'm willing to do that. I think I'm willing to actually just discard 5. Because we have the Sun card, we can sort of like get bailed out here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going for aces. We can drop a 10 here, I guess. Maybe we'll drop the Jack. I'm close on a flush house. Actually, wait, I just have a flush house now. If I have the 10, Jack and Queen into hearts. And this is not the end of the world, because like, I can turn my kings into aces. I could turn my queens into kings, maybe. Yeah, flush house just wins. We do miss out on the opportunity of like trying to dig for our extra gold cards. And if I wasn't playing on the green deck, if my discards were free, I would just go for it, right? I would just go for the gold cards. But because we're playing on the green deck, discards cost money. So let's not be too frivolous. All right, 3,000 points we could do with 3 flushes, or with the blue joker we can get there. So currently, you know, maybe my flush is like, you know, 80 chips and 14 molts without the Droll joker. So this is going to give me another plus 100% chips. So this is a ×2. My 1,000 point hand is now a 2,000 point hand. I definitely want blue joker. Just, you know, it's in ante 3 already. I want to have, you know, kind of on average 1 scoring joker per ante. I would like to have some more planet cards. Not necessarily a Saturn card. We have a Mega Arcana, I think is worth it. Okay, so not the most powerful stuff here. I could use Lovers to make a wild card. That makes it easier for us to get our flushes, easier for us to get our flush houses. You know, we do have the 3 6s of hearts. We can make an extra 6 here. I think what I'm going to do instead, I'm actually going to go for the lucky cards for the money, and we're going to hang them. So do I want 10s or 6s or queens? Let's go 10s and 6s because I have more copies. And then we'll hang Jack and 7 here because we have the 6 of clubs we can turn into a 6 of hearts. Jack, I don't really need these Jacks of hearts, so let's hang them. Okay, now we don't buy the standard pack once again here because I need to save my money for the next shop. All right, let's look for a flush. So without the ace, this flush is like 2,000 points. With the ace, the extra chips here, we have the Scholar. This should be 3,000, or it should be close. If it does win, it barely wins. Or we just get lucky. That's fine too. Okay, here, generally I like the Golden Joker, but maybe as an Eternal I don't feel great about. If I am playing flush houses, that's like a hand that can win without that much Joker support, and so maybe this being Eternal's fine. Popcorn as a rental, I don't think we want to be paying for. In the next round here, 4,800, if we draw the aces, we win. If we don't draw the aces, we play 2 flushes. So that's fine. I am going to pick up the Golden Joker because I don't really have anything else going on, so I might as well. Now, the standard packs. I think we continue to pass on the standard packs. I want to save my money not for interest, but for better purchases. This flush, I think, doesn't win, even though we get 86 chips from the blue joker. Yeah, but we can play, you know, we can dig for our aces here. And we could take the chance, we could dig for more aces for more money, but the odds of that happening, not great. Is it worth $1 to try? Is it worth $1 to try? 33 cards here. I think it's like even expected value. I think if you throw away 4 cards, right? If I see 4 out of the 33 here, 2 aces, each of them giving me $3 each, potentially $1 for each of these lucky cards. I think it's worth $1. If not, we just ship it. Little bit of risk there, but no risk of losing. We just lose $1. Okay, could pick up the swashbuckler here. I think just like boss says no repeat hand type, so this really puts a lot of pressure on us to win with just one hand. So I am interested in picking up some extra scoring here. Let's try a celestial pack. Black hole is incredible actually, and a buffoon pack is pretty high expected value. Okay, rebate we can turn into money, though it is perishable and rental. Could pick up the Midas mask. I guess we definitely pick up the Midas mask because we can always sell it for $3. Question is like, would I rather have the Midas mask or swashbuckler? Is there something else that I'm willing to sell here? You know, maybe we get rid of the scholar because it's kind of not easy for us to get our aces. Though long term I'd really like to hold on to the scholar if possible. So maybe instead of the Midas mask, I'd actually rather have the scoring help here from the swashbuckler. And then that way I know for sure I can win the boss here. Now I don't have to sweat it. Whereas like the Midas mask is a little bit of a risk. You know, for some benefit, for some payoff, having the gold cards would be great, but it is risky. I think I don't want the tarot merchant. I'd like to get better jokers. So let's just save our money. We do have $17 and we don't get interest. And so the question is like, do I want to re-roll? I think re-rolls are still not great expected value as far as like, you know, spending your money. You want to buy booster packs first before re-rolling. And so I've been skipping a lot of standard packs because I haven't had a lot of money, but I still want to open some standard packs. So I'm just going to keep saving my money for booster packs rather than re-rolling. And I think that's like just generally true all the time, whether you're on the green deck or a different deck. Let's discard looking for hearts. Okay, so I have the flush, not a flush house, but this flush with the ace, with the swashbuckler, this might be 6,400. Let's find out. All right, of course we get lucky again. So let's see here. If we didn't get the plus 20, we still have 20 from the swashbuckler and the droll joker. We would get, you know, maybe I think 5,500, maybe 6,000 points. Not 6,400, but close. All right. We can go, I definitely want both of these booster packs. Let's go jumbo first. Mega second because the mega gives us more options and I want more information before more options. All right, we can take the Hungman for 2 card removal. We could take the $20 here. So maybe something to consider is like the deck manipulation, you know, having 2 less bad cards on the deck, that saves me a discard, right? That saves me a hand that I have to use, that saves me money. Also, if I do in the end, I want to play flush houses, then, you know, maybe this is like kind of important. We could use the strength card here. We could turn a king into an ace is useful. We can turn a 9 into a 10 would be pretty useful. I think between all these options, I'd rather go Hung Man here. Let's see. Yeah, let's do it. So like if you take the Hermit there, Hermit gives you 20 bucks, right? Like let's say you get the 20 bucks. What are you doing with that 20 bucks? Well, you're going to take that 20 bucks and you're going to re-roll in the shop. What are you hoping to get when you re-roll in the shop? You're hoping to get Hung Man. So just take the Hung Man. All right, here I have another Sun card. I can make more hearts. Could get a Joker, could get money. I think definitely we take the money. Secondarily, you know, do I want to make hearts? And I think these things aren't necessarily super important for me to turn into hearts. Maybe jacks and sevens we can remove. Kings and nines I will turn into hearts. I want to be able to play flush houses instead of flushes. Like flushes right now are kind of struggling, whereas like flush houses will just one shot. And if we win with less hands, that earns us money. $42 now. $42 now. I think I want to do one reroll. And I'm not going to reroll more than that. Okay, so we've got 2 rounds left on Blue Joker. We got 4 rounds left on the Swashbuckler. We just picked up the Swashbuckler. Michelle is probably more consistent than the Scholar. So, or, you know, Michelle is just like stronger than Droll Joker. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the Swashbuckler, pick up Michelle here. Feeling good about this. I'm not going to reroll here because I want to be able to buy all future booster packs. So let's just go next. Okay, let's look for hearts. Kind of funny we didn't get any hearts. There's aces. I think here with the 2 aces and the 2 bonus cards with Michelle, maybe this wins. I don't know, 9,000 points seems kind of high. It's close. Yeah. Cool. Now, we can afford standard packs, finally. Do I want another 8 of hearts? I have 3 already, so maybe picking up a 4th one is not terrible. I think that's like just about not strong enough. If this were a Lucky King, I would pick up a Lucky King because Lucky Kings can turn into aces. If this were, you know, obviously a seal is what we want most, so let's skip. Alright, I do want this Arcana pack. I probably don't want the Tarot Merchant because my Jokers kind of suck. And again, here I want to make sure that I have enough Jokers in the shop. I don't want to replace Jokers with Tarot cards. But I do want to re-roll 4 Tarot cards before opening the Arcana pack. 1 more round left on my Blue Joker. I could replace it with a Fist, but maybe not Eternal. Let's just re-roll. Okay, we can spin the wheel here. We could pick up the Dagger. I think it's too late for the Dagger. I'm going to buy the wheel but not use it right away. Let's go Arcana pack first. So holding onto the wheel makes it so that there's no wheel inside here. We could take 11 bucks or random tarot cards. Definitely use the wheel. Okay, now do I want 11 bucks or random tarot cards or mult cards? And 13,000. 13,000 is currently 2 flushes or 1 flush house works. So if I want to get the flush house, let's take the Emperor card instead of the money. 11 bucks I don't need. Spin the wheel. Priestess. Uranus and Plutonium. I don't need either of those. Let's save our money for the next set of booster packs. And here we just play 2 hands, right? Or I can try to go for the flush house with 8s and 9s. There's only 1 8 and 1 9 left in the deck. or go for aces. Maybe we get lucky here. If not, that's fine. We just go for hearts one more time. What about a full house? So it's not going to be a flush, but we actually get a lot more scholar value here. Let's just play the flush. We only need 5,000 points here. Yeah. Okay, my blue joker has perished, so I'll sell it. We get a death card. Perfect. Standard pack. So the bar is pretty high. The bar is pretty high for what cards I would actually accept into my deck. You should still look though. Should still check. Let's get rid of plutonium. Boss says play only one hand type, so maybe we play 2 flushes. Death card maybe helps us make a flush house if we need it. I do open the Arcana pack, but before I open the Arcana pack, let's re-roll once for tarot cards. Splash we don't need. Do I have enough money where I can afford 2 re-rolls per shop? Yeah. Okay, throwback or smiley face here. Smiley face, maybe. It's not going to be a whole lot, and throwback is not really going to be a whole lot either, but it's better than nothing. Now let's go Arcana. So question, do we use the death card right now, or do we save the death card for an emergency in the next round here? It does prevent me from using the Emperor if I'm holding on to the death card. How about these kings here? Do I want to make bonus kings? Or I can make a steel king. I can make a steel ace. Let's make a steel king. I'm making a steel king because the king can turn into an ace. I want steel aces. All right, let's go next. So we do have a flush house, and since we do have a flush house, I think we play it. I'm not convinced that the flush house wins, but I think we play it anyway. And with the death card, we can guarantee a second flush house. Okay, so my second flush house is going to be aces. So 10s and looking for one more 10 or one more ace. Kind of the worst that we could have gotten. Is it easier to get the 10 or easier to get the 6? Easier to get the 10. Oh, I do have the flush house now if I just use the death card. Yeah, do I want an extra 6 or do I want an extra 10? Or should we try to be greedy here and just go for the ace specifically? Ace or the 10? So I have 4 of them, right? I have 3 aces, I have 1 10. I get to see 5 cards out of 21. The odds are not in our favor, is what I'll say about that. In which case, let's make an extra 10. I'm choosing 10 instead of 6s because I have extra 9s, whereas I don't have extra 5s of hearts. So let's go queen into 10 here. Like I said, emergency situation. Safe. Okay. Gift card is cool, but maybe a little bit late for gift card. We definitely buy the voucher. We definitely buy these Arcana packs. Do we want to re-roll first? In the next round here, 25,000 is a little bit on the tough side. So knowing that, acknowledging that it's going to be kind of tough here, we're going to spend a little bit more than we might otherwise. So re-roll once. These things don't help. I'm going to open the 2 Arcana packs. Alright, we get another death card is actually like huge, perhaps essential to our plan. Okay, I can make another steel card. I could make... No, that's it. We make another steel card. What do we want to be steel? Maybe a steel ace, maybe a steel 2. Let's go steel ace. Even though it's diamonds, it's still an ace. We'll see. We'll see where we end up. Okay, so what I want to draw my aces. I think we drop the jack though. Almost a straight flush. Okay. So we could go for like 9s and 6s as a flush house. 9s and 8s. We have an extra 10. Let's go for... I still want the aces. 9s and 10s here. I could use the death card to make the flush house right now. I think with our current level of technology, we need 2 flush houses anyway, which is like not the situation that you want to be in, being forced to play 2 flush houses. Yeah, I think we bail out here with the death card. That feels bad. Alright, maybe we get lucky. We do get the money. So we need the aces. Straight up. So what do we go for? Aces and kings, aces and 10s, aces and 4s doesn't work. We have 10s here, maybe we go... Yeah, still looking for aces. I need 2 of my 3 aces is what I need. And I don't think we're gonna get that. But, I mean, that's what we need, so. Alright, we have kings here. Still looking for those aces. Some consideration for playing maybe 2 flushes. Rather than going for the flush house. So like, suppose we do this. And suppose we draw 4 hearts now. Then we have 2 flushes. Does 2 flushes do it? It does if we hit lucky. Alright, risky. Ooh, nope. Didn't do it. Didn't get there. Unlucky. So let's see here. I mean, we ended with 39 bucks, right? I think, you know, with the 39 bucks that we ended with, 3 of that came from a gold seal and like 20 of that came from a lucky card, right? So really we had like 16 bucks. And the question is like, if we spent the 16 bucks in the shop, re-rolling the shop for jokers, would that have saved us? Would that have made the difference? Probably not. Like there's a chance that it works, but like the probability of that happening is pretty low. So I think here what it came down to was we needed one more series card, one more planet card to help us level up. We needed the death cards kind of like came at the wrong time. You know, we were like forced to use it in like a bad situation. I think if we got like just one uncommon joker, one strong joker earlier on, like any time in the first 13 rounds, like that would have been fine, but we didn't. So I think that's what it came down to. I think this time we got particularly unlucky not getting at least like one kind of uncommon joker, you know, within the first 12 rounds. The deck building was fine. We were kind of on track with, you know, only 49 cards on the deck. We had the extra aces. We had a lot of extra hearts. We actually had like an extra decent amount of face cards for our smiley joker if we needed it. Oh well, that's going to be it. I've said this in the past, you know, even when you lose, that doesn't necessarily mean that you did something wrong. Take care, everyone.